Hello to my 7th grade advanced classes, and welcome to Statistics and Probability Review. This is a good way to help you prepare for the Go Formative quiz that we are going to take on Friday. The Go Formative quiz is based on statistics and probability, and yes, you'll be allowed to use your notes. And what this video is for is so that you can take some notes and help yourself out on the types of questions you'll see. Okay, so let's take out our interactive notebooks, and you can add these notes as we go. I'll tell you what you should probably write down. Alright, here's our first example. Since we did box and whisker graphs, what I would have you do is obviously we need to look at this. I'm going to go through and tell you how to solve it, and then we'll stop, and you can kind of figure out what we need to write and what's important for this question. So we have, if you read the question, box plots for Chapter 6 test scores, 2 classes are shown. What is the difference in the Q3s of the 2 classes? Well, if you remember from box and whisker, we have the lowest point here and the highest point here. This point in the middle is the median. That is called Q2. To the left, this point on the edge of the box is called Q1. And this point right here is called Q3, the edge of the box. And we break up the data into 1, 2, 3, 4 parts, so 25%. And if all we need to know is about the Q3s and find the difference means subtract. So Q3, if I trace this down, looks to me for class 1 to be about, I would say, 87%. If we want to know the difference, well, Q3 for class 1 would be right there. Looks like it's about 90, so we can subtract those. 90 minus 87 would be 3%. So our answer in this case would be 3%. Now, how you answer this? Well, what's important that you should probably write down? Well, what I would say is write down a set of box and whiskers, at least one, be able to identify, label it as Q1, Q2, Q3, put your points, and be able to identify where each point is, and then realize that you might have to trace it down to a number line to get numbers for those values. Okay? If you have to, take a second now, hit pause, take some notes. You can always write down as much as you need. Okay? Hit pause now. Alright, next question. Spinner divided into blue, green, and red parts. If you spin the spinner 300 times, the table of outcome is shown. So if you add those up, you will get 300. What is the probability of spinner landing on green? Okay, well, this one's actually pretty easy. If we have green, how many are green? There is 107 out of 300. Is our probability. That's it. This is a simple probability problem. If you needed to simplify this, you could. So right now, if you want to copy this problem, understand how it's done, you can do this. Maybe take notes about something about how you find probability based on a chart. And if you didn't have this total in the problem, realize that you can get the total from adding those all up. So pause, take down any notes that you may need. Next problem, same idea. Spinner is divided into 5 parts. Spinning the spinner 300 times. Based on the table, what is the estimated probability of the spinner landing on an odd number? Okay, well, odd numbers. Here we have 1, so that is 42. 3, that is 63. And 57. So what we're going to do is we're going to add those up. You should get 162. So out of all those, there are 162 odd numbers, and that is out of 300. Now, we're going to need to simplify this. You could divide it to get a decimal answer. That's okay. Numerator divided by denominator. Or, let's divide by 2. Both numerator and denominator. If I do that, I get 81 and 150. Well, that we're going to have to keep dividing. Let's try dividing by 3. That would give me 50 here and 27. 27 over 50 can't be simplified. So there's your final answer. Landing on an odd number. Don't forget, if you need to write anything down, take notes, pause now. What's important from this? Okay, this doesn't even have any questions, but it might be something good that you want to write down. Maybe look at it, see what these are. These are our line plots. And each of these dots stands for a number. So if I'm looking at, this should be class A, I think that title got cut off. There's a 0, there's 2 1s, there's a 2, there's 2 3s, there's 3 4s, there's 3 5s, a 6, oh, run out of space on my screen, and 2 7s. So this is information we would need to find either mean, median, mode. What I'd like you guys to do is find the median, which is the middle of both class A and class B. So looking at these numbers, once you hit pause, so you can get a chance to write it down, find the median of both A and B. Ready? Pause. Alright, if you've had a chance to figure out the median of set A would be the middle number, would be 4. The median of set B, or class B, there's an even number here. So it would be halfway between 3 and 4, or 3.5. So if you have an even number to find the median, add them up. 3 plus 4 is 7, divided by 2, you get your 3.5. If you have an odd number like set A, it's just the number in the middle, and you can do your little cross-off thing, try to find that number. Okay, so given 2 data sets like this, you should be able to find any kind of measure of central tendency. So if you have to, pause, write down what's important before we move on to the next slide. Next problem. Probability. It contains 4 red marbles, 12 blue marbles. What's the probability of randomly selecting a red marble from the bag? This question is not as easy as it seems. Okay? I'm going to let you try it. Write down anything you need right now, hit pause, and then I'll go over what I think you should do. Did you fall for the trick? I hope not. When finding probability, we are looking for the part out of the whole. So, in this case, you probably knew that there were 4 red marbles. Hopefully you didn't mess up and put 12 as your denominator, because it's not 4 out of 12. It should be 4 out of all of them. And there are 4 plus 12, 16 of them. So it should be 4 out of 16, which of course simplifies to 1/4. Be careful on these problems. Don't make that mistake. These problems. Remember, these you have to write the answer as a word. So 3/4 chance of rain on Friday. How likely is it to rain? Hit pause so you can answer the question and write what you think it is. It's not certain that it's going to rain if it's a 3/4% chance of rain. It is likely. So you can also review those parts of your notes and remember what each of those means with probability. Alright, we are moving along. School has this many students between 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. They want to know which is most popular, so they pick a random sample of 100 students. Of those 100, how many should be 7th graders? Let's think about this. So remember we talked about how we have to talk about the sample and the population. The sample is of 100 students, and we know that the entire population is, if you add up all those numbers, so that would be 490 if you add up all those numbers. And out of them, we want to know about how many are 7th graders. There are 170 students in 7th grade. So we know about the population. We want to know how many we should sample. there's our variable. And of course you guys are going to know how to do this. So what I would say to do is now we're going to pause. This might be a good problem to look over. See if you can figure it out. Set up the proportion. Write down what's important about how you can find missing values, and look at your notes about sample versus population. Okay, so hit pause, cross multiply and solve, and see if you have the same answer I do. Now when I cross multiplied, I got x is equal to 34.7. Since that doesn't make sense in this problem, you can't have 0.7 seventh graders. So we're going to round this up to 35. So out of 100, we're saying there should be 35 eighth graders to keep it proportional to the actual population, which we do know about. Okay? Look at this question, see if you know how to do this. If not, ask whoever's up here to pause. You can discuss as a class. Maybe Miss Race will know. Can you help them, Miss Race? Alright, so hit pause. Okay, we are on number 9. And again, this is a review for the Go Formative quiz, so hopefully this will help you do better. You can always go back and watch this video if you from home. It's on my YouTube page. You go to Barnett's Algebra class if you search in YouTube. And this is a video that I posted there. You can watch it again tonight if you want to help yourself for the quiz. So Chocolate Company selects 50 random packages, check their weight. 2 have an incorrect weight. So how many packages out of 2,000? We have done so many of these. I'm going to let you guys set it up. Hit pause. We'll come back. Maybe if you want to copy the problem, take your time now. Do it. Hit pause. Alright, here's what I got. Talking about samples and population. From the sample, we have 2 packages out of 50, so that's our first fraction here. 2 are broken, or 2 are the wrong weight, and 50 are how many they checked. We want to know about this population of 2,000, but we don't know how many are the wrong weight. So if we use this and we cross multiply, we should get x is equal to 160. So there are 160 that have the incorrect weight. Okay? Take a second, write down what you need to, add to your notes. And finally, we have our last question. And this question is a little tricky about what they're asking for, but let's just go through it. Company has sales departments. Each sales department has 120 employees. The company wants to survey its employees. Okay, so we want to find out the most effective sales methods for the population. Which sample should the company use to arrive at the most reliable conclusion? Of course, there will be choices on your actual quiz, but what I would say to do, the best answer that you can get for this, which sample should you use, is the one that is most representative of the population. In order to make it representative of population, think about all the samples we did. Remember, I asked you guys all these questions about what you liked, favorite superheroes, ice cream, and when we took smaller samples, it wasn't as reliable. I think the one we did in class was the peanut butter, and how it seemed like everyone liked peanut butter when they didn't really like peanut butter cups. So in general, what you can know is the bigger your sample size, the more representative of the population it is. So which sample should they choose? They should choose the biggest one if they want to be the most reliable. Okay, this is another one of these questions where you want to pause, write down what you think, what's important from this, at least copy what I wrote, because that'll help you answer a question like this. And that's the last question. So this should help you review for the quiz that you have to take tomorrow on Go Formative. Good luck, guys. I will see you when I return.